I will check out this movie called Heart of Stone. Here we go. So we got this four-man team, right? Parker and Yang are the two operatives. Bailey and Rachel are the computer specialists, you know what I'm saying? But Bailey's the one that's driving. Now Rachel, her last name is Stone, ergo Heart of Stone. So this little party was set up or whatever like that. They're trying to hunt down this dude named Mulvaney. Now who is he? He's a weapons specialist that sells guns. The thing is, nobody's seen from him in the last 3 years, so now they get a chance to get this nigga. But Mulvaney gets to a certain part of the building, and basically, Stone can't hack through his phone unless one of the operas is standing at least 10 feet away from him. So basically, she gotta go into the party. She gets in there, gets access, all that good shit, right? Everybody in the house is just chilling, just gambling or whatever like that, right? But now the two operatives, Parker and Yang, go downstairs or whatever like that. They go through this little tunnel way, easy access, and there's gambling downstairs. But the difference is, they're gambling on real life military fights, espionage, all types of shit, right? So basically the mission is to try to catch him, Mulvaney, get some information from him, whatever like that. But they didn't think this through, I don't think. Yang was going to try to sneak up behind and tranquilize him, but then I'm thinking to myself, like, did you not realize all the fucking guards he had around him? I'm like, they're to the one big brawl, you know what I'm saying? They trying to get niggas out of there. So throughout all this, it gets to a point where Parker and Mulvaney is in a ski lift, right? Yang and Barely see at the end of the ski lift, whatever like that, is a bunch of most of Mulvaney's men or whatever like that. So they try to hurry up and get down there, right? Stone gets tripped up. She's like, yo, go on without me or whatever like that. But by the time they're rushing down there, Stone ends up talking to somebody else in the earpiece of dude named Jack. So I'm like, wait a minute, is Stone a double agent or something? So as timid as she's supposed to be and a computers expert, now she's flying off of fucking parachutes, coming down murking niggas. I'm like, wait a minute. So basically Stone gets down there and finishes off niggas before the team does. And she cleans up the bodies to make sure there ain't nobody there. Parker finally gets off the lift with Mulvaney, but then all of a sudden he starts gagging and shit. I'm like, oh, this nigga took a fucking cyanide pill. I'm like, he's dead as shit. I'm like, damn. But the thing is, Stone is still hiding from the team. They don't even know she's down there. They still think she's up the mountain. Now, there's one thing I forgot to mention in between all this. While they were doing this whole espionage thing before they got caught by Mulvaney or whatever, this chick taps their frequencies and was like, hey, you know what y'all get yourselves into? So we're thinking to ourselves, how good is she to be able to tap into MI6 frequencies? So the team gets back to MI6 headquarters and they get chewed out by the boss. But then the boss thinks they got a mission to be able to find somebody bigger. But Stone's thinking to herself, she got to figure out who the fuck that girl was. And she convinced the team of the same shit. Later on, she goes to take her swimming and Parker's talking to her, whatever like that. Now, Parker wants to follow her to something. I mean, you think it's kind of like a love interest a little bit, but not really. She ends up getting out the pool and heading out, but you think to yourself, where's she heading out to? She goes into this building. She ends up going to this building with the dude named Jack. So it's like, okay. Then this lady by the name of Nomad comes out of nowhere. It turns out Nomad was actually her tutor, her teacher or whatever like that. And they're a part of this group they call themselves the Charter, my bad. So the thing is, Stone's got two missions. One, to keep her cover concealed. Basically, Bailey, Yang, and Parker don't know nothing about this shit. And two, to get this weapon back called the Heart. Get why the title's called Heart of Stone now? Yeah. So basically, the Heart is like a knowledge and power bioweapon. Basically, it can give access to anything technologically all across the world. Now, the Charter's trying to use it to stop evil, but if anything falls in the wrong hands, So the thing is, the Charter's able to use it, but the thing is, they don't have the power supply. So later on, Stone goes back to the spot. She starts digging up some information to try to find out who this lady is. Turns out this lady's name is Kia. Turns out she figures out she's going to be going to like Portugal. So the team goes to Portugal. They set up at this little abandoned house. And when I say the team, obviously are four: Bailey, Yang, Parker, and Stone. So they take time to just chill out. They dance and they already set up shop. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, the operatives come out of nowhere. They throw a tear gas. They try to lace down niggas, led by this crazy motherfucker named Nigel. So it gets to a point in a fight where Stone is like talking to Jack, intercom, whatever like that. And he's like, look, man, you gonna have to, abandon the team if you go back in there, you're probably gonna die or jeopardize your identity. So it got to a point where Stone was like, fuck that, yo. The team been getting beat up and whatnot. All of a sudden, Stone comes back and starts whipping ass. They see what she been doing. They're like, what the fuck? Where'd this come from? They end up escaping into this big ass van and then you got the car scene. That scene is nuts. So basically, they end up getting away from the niggas. Now, her team is looking at her like, yo, what the fuck was the deal? Like, what's going on with you? All of a sudden, Parker comes out of nowhere with a gun and kills Bailey and Yang. I'm like, what the fuck? Turns out it was a setup the whole time. Kia actually works for Parker. Turns out when Parker was in the ski lift with Mulvaney, he was actually the one that put the cyanide in his throat. I'm like, oh, he killed this nigga. He ended up swiping Stone's leg with a knife or whatever, like in the struggle, but she ended up pulling him down to the ground or whatever. But the thing is, while they were talking, the tip of the blade was poisoned. That's why he didn't even struggle to fight it off. He's like, oh shit. The thing is, he doesn't want her dead just yet, but he's like, but why? Turns out when he left her for dead, he slipped something in her pocket and something in her arm. When the Charter picked her up, they got the poison out of her, saved her life. But the thing is, when she woke up, she had to take this thing out of her arm. Now, what the arm was for, it was a fucking tracker inside of that shit. Which basically gave Parker the information that was held in the Charter when it came to the Heart stuff. And I think he's possibly done some digging to figure out the actual location of the power source. So Nomad after this basically suspends Stone for compromising and jeopardizing the mission or whatever, and she's off the case. Now you're thinking to yourself, do you really think Stone's gonna let this shit slide after her whole team gets killed, and then for a guy that she thought was with her for like a whole year turns on him? Yeah, that suspension shit wasn't gonna last long, right? Yeah. So what does Stone do? She ends up going back to Bailey's house or whatever like that, watching after his cat. Then she looks at the computer with a message that says smile, so she's thinking to herself, let me see if I can still find some information on Kia. She does a little bit of digging and she finds some stuff. I think they're supposed to be going to the desert or something. Nomad ends up talking to this lady by the name of Karuchi. So she got some information on Parker back at like 2015 or something like that. Turns out Parker was with this group to liberate people from like Iraq or something. But the plan got compromised about some secret weapons, so basically Karuchi sent some bombs and wiped out the whole fucking clan. The thing was, Parker was the only one that survived. So basically to Parker, this is like a revenge mission. Next thing we see is Parker and Kia. They make it to this destination, whatever like that. But they're in mid-air. They're flying in a plane. They're trying to get to this hydro blimp. Inside the hydro blimp is the power source to the heart. Now, let me ask you this. How long has this goddamn blimp been flying around? You know what I'm saying? You put a power source inside this motherfucker. It's like, hold up, yo. Who's been refueling the blimp? You know what? Anyway, Parker and Kia got inside the blimp. Stone lands on the fucking blimp. She gets inside. Now it's time for beef. Now the thing is, he was about to shoot her, but Kia's like, no, if you shoot off anything, this shit will fucking explode, we'll all die. It's basically like a nitrogen blimp, you know what I'm saying? Hard fought battle, but bottom line is, Parker ends up getting away. Parker and Kia about to get away or whatever like that, but they're about to explode the fucking blimp. But the thing is, Stone ends up grabbing onto the rope and whatnot. Bottom line is, cuts the rope, her and Kia fall. Kia's the only one with a good parachute. She ends up knocking her out, whatever like that, and then getting the parachute so they can end up landing safely. Now the thing is, Parker and them can't follow them because the fucking hydrogen balloon is exploding and shit. But the reason why he's going to end up following her, even though he does have the power stone, he can't access it without Kia's DNA. So there you go. Kia ain't stupid. She knows she could be an easy liability. So when they get to the ground, Stone does some moves, end up snatching Kia's gun, and then they start walking. Now, Kia gets some story about her parents getting killed because of some liberalists and things of that nature. But that's why she's helping out Parker, because she feels like her and Parker are on the same wavelength when it comes to like people just being discarded and things of that nature. But she don't even realize it's so far left from his intentions. So this Jamaican lady drives out there in the middle of nowhere, and you're thinking to yourself like, the fuck? Stone obviously knows her, so they're like, all right, we're just going to get this ride. They end up getting the ride back to this town. Then all of a sudden they start getting shot at. All these Jamaican niggas try to shoot at Stone. Stone getting the hell up out of there. We like, where the fuck is Kia at? Stone ends up diving into the ocean and making it to another beach. Meanwhile, Kia's just sitting there chilling. And all of a sudden we find out Nigel was leading the Jamaicans and shit. The lady's like, yeah, I got Stone here. Can I get my money? Nigel turns around, just pops on the head. He's like, man, fuck that shit. Now, obviously, Nigel's going to take Kia to Parker. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get it rolling. Now, basically, it comes down to figuring out coordinates. We have found out that Nigel's got this power plant or whatever like that in Iceland. So that's where they're going. Stone and the charter end up figuring that out, too. Parker and Kia end up accessing the power force, and now niggas about to get fucked. It pretty much shuts out the Charter's organization, and now it's really up to Stone. Now, Parker's whole thing is to take out the Hearts. Now, the Hearts are like the top people that are in espionage, like Karuchi and like these other niggas, right? So Parker ends up seeing Karuchi in the elevator, but it's like they got kids on the elevator too, whatever like that. Parker's like, yo, drop the elevator. So after this, Kia sees the cruelty in his nature, and she's like, what the fuck? But Parker ain't done. So the Charter gets a team or whatever like that, Stone, and they're about to go to this building or whatever, right? But the problem is now because Parker has all the access to the computer systems, they don't know they're falling into a trap. Basically, Parker locks the Charter group with Jack and Nomad in his room or whatever like that, and basically it's sealed airtight, and they basically have an hour before they lose oxygen. Now we got this other group that's heading into the building. Stone is actually talking to Kia because Kia intercepted the thing because she had ran away from Parker. She tells her to set up, but she's not sure whether Stone could believe her or not, whatever. But then Stone thinks about it going in there, and then she goes back and she's like, oh shit, like Kia's right. But it was too late, and when the building, the fucking whole entire building exploded. I'm like, yo, these niggas ain't survived that shit. And they didn't. The only reason Stone was still alive because Kia gave her the info, and then she ended up running back out. But because the Charter's communications were gone, they had to go through a landline tap, and then it was like, that's how they was able to even contact Stone to let her know that they're locked in their own shit. So now Stone's basically listening to Kia. She ends up going to the real building. But when Kia was trying to run, Parker was catching up to her. But the thing is, Parker knows he can't kill her because he needs to access the fucking the Power Stone again. Because what happened was, when Kia was getting away from Parker, she didn't realize that she had put an access code in or whatever like that and plugged it into the system for it to be shut down for a minute until he's able to get her to come back and restart the system up again. And that's why he needs her alive, but this time he's more forceful because that she knows his intentions and she ain't with it. So Stone gets into the building. Kia sees Stone. She tricks Parker into opening up the access doors. And now Kia, Parker, and Stone are all inside the access place. Final confrontation, they about to get the bus in. Parker versus Stone. Heck of a battle, the gun gets knocked around somewhere, and it's back to the beef. Kia ends up getting the bullet sliding towards Stone. Bam Bam Parker, he done did that shit. They access the spot and save the charter people. It's been a whole month. Stone gets back to the position. Kia gets locked up. But after a while, Stone's about to go on some missions, and now Jack works for Stone. But then she ends up bringing Kia on the job too. She does computer assistance. And that's how the movie ends. There you go. The crazy thing is, I get both sides of what they were trying to do, but the thing is, Parker was trying to do it for revenge. Now, older members of the Charter were trying to wipe out shit for the bigger cause and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Which is still kind of fucked up, but you kind of get it. And I kind of can see why Parker wanted to take his revenge. The problem is he was taking it too far. Trying to eliminate other people that didn't have anything to do with that particular situation. But anyway, check it out. Heart of Stone on Netflix. Check it out.